Well, I think the thing that you need to do is to understand that the lessons are written in a very structured learning model way. And the whole idea is we take every single step. So there's no black holes of learning, as we refer to it. So you're not going to fall down a big hole of, I don't understand that, how did I get here? The whole idea is that everything is explained, and every single exercise and every lesson moves on from where the last one left off.
Right, so you're just going boom, 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 not boom, boom, ah!
No
boom.
R in it. So it's a straightforward path. What might happen...
No corners?
No corners. What may happen sometimes when you're learning is that just through enthusiasm, you've started with a few basics, or even this happens to advanced players. You're on a path of learning, and then you get sidetracked because you love music, and you think, well, you may say something to your tutor like, well, what about what happens in this record?
Yeah.
Tutor gets excited because they want to explain it to you, which is great, and they start talking about it. Before you know it, a few weeks later, you're off on this journey in this direction.
On a Tommy tangent.
It could be described as such. Then what happens is the tutor remembers, or you remember, that you were trying to do something a few weeks back, so you come back, but actually where the path has taken you, you've gone over here, you come back in at a higher level, but you've got this gap which you haven't been through. Now that's what the Essential Skills courses are all about, is making sure that there are no gaps in your learning, and it's a straightforward step-by-step pathway.
Okay, so on the TV we're mimicking almost what's going on your software on your computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different medium, of course, isn't it, television? So the whole idea is that students can't interact with the programme in the way that the television program, rather, then you can if you've got the software in front of you. But the idea of the television program is to give some explanation, and also to support the learning, and perhaps even introduce you to what Gigajam is all about.
All right, let's get interactive.
Good.
Enough talking. Let's start interacting.
Well, quite right. So the lessons are based on a relatively simple learning model, where we introduce a little bit of knowledge, get the students' understanding, and straight to application. The key thing is that people don't want to learn to play, they want to be able to play.
Very true.
Okay. So the lessons are written in such a way that we have clear objectives for each lesson, and then each section has a little bit of text, which is then supported with multimedia exercises.
I'm excited now. Multimedia.
Yeah, multimedia. So we've got some video clips and we've got some play-along support software. Two things. When you leave your teacher's studio, the house, quite often this has happened to me. I've said to a student, how did you get on with your practice? And they will say to me, yeah, I did this bit, but I forgot about that. The bit that you really wanted them to get their teeth into, they kind of forgot what was going on. So what I've done with this program and the software and the whole concept is to say, well, look, quite a lot of the time students will spend half an hour at most with their teacher. The rest of the time, Wild West.
They're on their own.
Correct. This is a way of supporting them. So the videos is a great way of actually sort of bringing the tutor, heaven forbid, somebody as scary as me, into their house, so they've got them there all the time. And what we've got here is, an example of my foot. And
what a fine foot it is,
You're
Brian.
very kind. Playing an exercise. So if you have forgotten what the exercise is about, you've got a media aid memoir to remind you of what you were doing. Now, as you go through the lessons, you have video clips that support every single exercise. There are also some additional video clips that show some more of the technical aspects of playing for whatever instrument in more detail.
I mean, this is more interesting, isn't it, than just picking up a book from the library and just ploughing through it?
Well, it's effectively like an interactive book. Yeah? So, where you have a book, yet you want to actually see some more, it enables you to do so. So you go through the pages and then click a button and up comes a video. Now, what's really important is, once you've gleaned your understanding, so you've got a bit of knowledge, you've gleaned your understanding, the key thing is student practicing. Just forget it. If you're not going to practice, you're not going to get any better. So it's very lonely practicing on your own. So we've built what's called extractor software for each of the courses, which extracts your track so you can play along with it. So if we take, for example, one of the last exercises in lesson 1, just purely as an example, what you've got here is a band track. So you can play along what you've learnt in the lesson along with a band. Right.
So when you say band track, what sort of instruments have we got in this band?
Well, we've got bass, keyboards, a little bit of guitar going on, and of course drum kit. Let me play a little bit for you.
Why don't you?
Well, I'm going to. So here it is. 4 clicks to come in.
Yep.
then a very simple, uncomplicated backing track, so it doesn't confuse you.
Quite a nice pace as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Now, the whole idea is that you can control the track by muting it, getting whatever sounds you want. You can even lose the drum track so you can play on your own. You can also change the pace as you get better and better.
You can't do that on a CD or a tape, can you?
Well, you can't, so it actually makes it interactive because you're controlling it. Now, the idea is that you play along with that over and over and over and get better. Now, what you can also do if you've got an electronic drum kit is that you can actually record your performance in, and I'll demonstrate that for you.
Please do.
Record button. Oh, that's quick. Oh dear. So
I shouldn't distract you by talking to you, should I, really? At this
just
point?
don't ask me to talk, is the
All right.
key.
Okay.
So I'll just play a sample of the exercise. I'll make... Yeah. That's me normally playing.
You're very good.
Thank you very much.
So we've stopped that not at the end.
No, we haven't.
Does that matter?
No, we'll only get an analysis, though, of what we've recorded. So my score, which I will now get by pressing the analyzer button.
How do you get your analysis? Hang on.
Well, it's recorded into the computer.
Yeah.
So I've now recorded it into my extractor. By pressing the A button, the Gigajam analyzer button, it actually compares what I've recorded against what I should have recorded. So here it comes up on the screen.
That's quite simple.
Well, that's the idea. And what it does is show graphically, it compares your performance. I've got green for good here on these first few shaky notes.
Yeah.
But most of them are black. Be fair.
That's quite good.
Not bad. And where you go horribly wrong, it gives you a colour.
Ah.
But what it also does is actually show the note in relationship to the position of these thin lines, so you can tell whether you're behind the beat or ahead of the beat.
All right, so where is the notes that you played? They're the ones in colour, the varying different colours on the sort of octaves?
On the stave.
Sorry.
Yeah, on the musical stave, that's right. What you can do is you compare the lesson here. This is the perfect file, and this is the performance. My performance, slightly less than perfect. But a good attempt, and it compares every single note against the ones that should have been played,
Yeah.
and the ones that you did play.
So you're just seeing exactly where you've gone wrong, not kind of guessing.
No.
It's there.
The other thing is, of course, is that we're looking at the analysis. What you can also do, and this is very, very important, is to listen to your performance. So if I go back to the extractor here, take out, mute the performance that was already in there, and let's now listen to what I just played. Listening out for evenness,
Yeah.
timing, passages where you go a bit awry, inconsistency in the balance of your sounds, all those kinds of things. When you're learning, you need to be using your ears to hear what you've performed, using your eyes to see what you've done, and you need to be using how it also feels. Are you becoming increasingly more comfortable through repetition? So using those 3 of the 5 senses that we have available is incredibly important.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing about being able to use computers is that it enables to provide multisensorial education, so that you can watch the videos if that's your main way of taking in information. You can read the text if you're more involved in the words and wanting to understand how that goes on. You can use your auditory skills, even if you can't say them. You can use your auditory skills
Yeah.
to hear what's going on as well and interpret your performance.
And also, you're seeing a progression, aren't you? Because you've got
Yes.
these things saved, and then
Yeah.
you can you get your percentage.
Yes.
You can see your progression going up and up and up,
Correct.
hopefully.
Hopefully. It
Fingers
should
crossed.
do if you practice, there's no doubt about that.
Just quickly,
Yes.
is Gigajam taking the place of the teacher?
No.
Will teachers be redundant?
No, never. I mean, it's a support tool. You could never replace a teacher. It's impossible to do so. It has only ever been designed as a support tool. Yes, if you haven't got a good local teacher, this is great. But ideally, a great teacher is the best thing you could possibly have.
Brian, I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you for coming in today and giving us an introduction to Gigajam. The fun does not stop here, though. Oh no, join us for part 1 of our Essential Drum Skills course.